Alright guys, here I got this Lasco 18-inch Elegance Performance pedestal fan, model 1820 from 2012. Now, these fans are getting to be 13 or 15 years old now, which is quite impressive, despite them being thrown out in masses for various reasons. But yeah, um, it's quite impressive on how these are still hanging around after a whole decade since their introduction. But yeah, these fans still had their flaws, so let's get into it. For starters, this is a time when Lasco was using the rear guard to pretty much have plastic molded into it as hooks, and as you can see here, this doesn't even lock up because this is not the correct size. And these clips, they tend to break. And it has happened with a bunch of older models as well. So that's why they discontinued this design and therefore adapted the design used on Air King fans, which is a slight improvement. But yeah, this would be the time that Lasco was transitioning to that boring Arial design logo. Um, and as you can see, it no longer has that wavy K logo like they used throughout the 90s and the 2000s. But yeah, 2008 would be the start. So this logo was very short lived. Um, Now, it wasn't really clean. It's still dirty, but it's somewhat improved. Now, this did not come with this back motor cover, so I had to replace it. Therefore, I replaced the entire motor assembly to match it. Well, not the motor assembly, just the motor cover itself. But yeah, it still has the switches right here and there. Um, this is starting to crack from the front, right here. And that's been an issue with these things, which is why I don't really like these pressure uh, pressure fit parts, because this thing starts to crack up, it gets loose. The bases have been having issues as well. So yeah, not really a very good design compared to older models, which had a screw on it at least. But yeah, um, the pitch is quite similar to the older ones, except that, as you know, they cut down the blade here. So it is a bit more narrow, and therefore it has a slight bit less pitch to it. Um, but it still performs fine, so let's demonstrate that right now. So here is the high. Yeah, that is whipping a lot of air out. But it doesn't seem to feel like a constant airflow. It just feels like it's whipping. But it's pretty impressive for a time like this. Yeah, that's pretty powerful right there. Medium. Also, keep in mind, these are high velocity fans. They didn't change much, but the low speed has a sort of more gentle airflow, but yeah, these are quite powerful. These could be felt from a good distance, sort of. That breeze is very, very gentle on the low. Let's test oscillations. Despite trimming the blade, these blade sets still tend to make this wishing sound like a helicopter. And also, not to mention the very slow paced oscillation. And it is slightly out of balance too. I can hear the bass vibrating through the floor. I feel like Lasco should have at least placed some rubber on the bass, like a whole You know those sliding types? Yeah, something like that. So it could reduce the vibrations being produced through the floor. They never did that. Here's a medium. Now, of course, oscillation-wise, this is not going to work. So let's forget the tester for now. But yeah, this is relatively decent at least. Now, I did sort of underestimated the power of this motor because it is able to drive this blade up to power, which is quite insane when you think about it. And I'll show you the another video. Here's the high now. Now it would have been great if they kept these blade sets, but of course with this grill design it does not really work well. And I'll show you why in that same video that I mentioned. Alright, enough. Now of course this fan has been serviced, so therefore it works well and has a good spin down timing. But yeah, that will be it for the video. So that's the Lasco 18-inch Elegance and Performance pedestal fan model 1820 from 2012.